Back in the Bay Area for Friday Night X-Lights with Amstel. Only this weekend we're on the other side of the Bay in the other league. D-backs can flip the script here in Oakland as we open a 3-game visit with the Athletics. Some interleague intrigue may get things turned around. Glad you're with us on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from the Oakland Coliseum and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly along the way. D-backs can change their mojo with a stop on the other side of the Bay Bridge, the first of 3 against the A's here. And in an American League Park, a chance for Toy Lovello to shake things up with the lineup, Bob. John Ryan Murphy gets a start tonight at DH.
Yeah, John Ryan Murphy, one of the few Diamondbacks that's been swinging the bat fairly well lately. He's hitting .246 overall this season, but as a starter, .302 with 5 home runs and 11 runs driven in. The 5 homers already a career high for John Ryan Murphy. Torrey just looking for some way to jumpstart this offense.
The DH, he bats third in the lineup today. This is a matchup of 2 good left-handers, Patrick Corbin for the D-backs and Sean Manaea, who's thrown a no-hitter this year for the A's.
Yeah, .271 ERA, ranks 8th in the American League. Opponent's batting average of .192. That's 5th in the American League. And that no-hitter back on April 1st came against arguably the best offensive team in baseball, the Boston Red Sox.
We're here at the beautiful Oakland Coliseum. First of 3, the D-backs and the A's on Fox Sports Arizona. D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By Gila River Hotels and Casinos. The card by Gila River Casinos earns you rewards 10 times faster than ever before. Sign up for the card today. By Carl's Jr. The Memphis Barbecue Thick Burger is back at Carl's Jr. for a limited time. Go on and pick it up. And by your Valley Honda dealer, where you'll get more standard features for less money. The Oakland Coliseum, D-backs' first visit here since July of 2011. It's a cool night, but not too bad. 61 degrees. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly, and Todd Walsh with you. The first of 3, the D-backs and the Oakland A's. And here's the D-backs lineup tonight. It's brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealers.
David Peralta will lead it off out in left field. Nick Ahmed playing shortstop, batting second tonight. John Ryan Murphy is the designated hitter, batting third. Paul Goldschmidt down at first base. Chris Owings out in right field. Jake Lamb will be at third base. Ketel Marte at second base. Gerard Dyson roaming the big center field here at the Coliseum. And Jeff Mathis doing the catching for left-hander Patrick Corbin.
Another lefty on the mound for the A's. Your Ram truck starter for Oakland is Sean Manaea, 26-year-old. A 2.71 ERA, that is 8th best in the American League. And Manaea threw a no-hitter here last month against the Red Sox.
Yeah, 3-pitch mix from the Oakland A's lefty, a fastball, change-up, slider combination. Mostly sliders to the left-handed hitters, change-ups to the right-handed hitters.
A look at the A's defense, a look around the diamond, brought to you by E.D. Marshall Jewelers.
Might need a program. Some unfamiliar names for those of us in the National League. Chad Pinder in left field, Mark Canha in center field. Stephen Piscotty will be over in right. Really looking forward to seeing these two guys on the corners. Matt Chapman at third, Matt Olson over at first base. Two really good looking young players. The double play combination will be Marcus Semien at shortstop, Jed Lowry at second base. Former Brewer Jonathan Lucroy doing the catching for left-hander Sean Manaea.
And Jim Wolf is behind the plate for the umpires tonight, calling the balls and strikes. Ryan Blakeney is our first base umpire. Alfonso Marquez at second, and Sam Holbrook at third. Time now, Bob, for your Valley Honda dealers key to the game.
Well, seeing as we're here in Oakland, where Al Davis coined the phrase, just win, baby. That's all the Diamondbacks need right now, just win.
D-backs have lost 7 games in a row and 13 of their last 14 as David Peralta gets us started on Memorial Day weekend here in Oakland with strike one.
First pitch, 6:36.
Bounced over the mound. Semien behind the bag at second. Quickly one out for Manaea.
That's another thing about Manaea. He's thrown the fewest average pitches per inning of any pitcher in the major leagues. He's averaging just under 14 pitches per inning this season. Attacks at strike zone.
And against the left-hander, Nick Ahmed batting in the 2-hole tonight. This is an enormous ballpark. As Bob mentioned, the outfield is big as it is, but there is a tremendous amount of foul ground here, far more than in any other park in baseball. And Torlavella, who has come here a lot with the Red Sox, admitted it takes players their first time here a while to get used to how much space there is out there.
Yeah, it's unlike any other ballpark in the major leagues. As Todd mentioned on the pregame show, the only multi-purpose stadium still left in the major leagues where they play football and baseball. And with that in mind, there's enough room to play a football game while you're playing a baseball game here.
At least until the Raiders are set to head to Las Vegas soon. Golden State Warriors facility, Oracle Arena, is in the parking lot just outside. They get a big game tomorrow night here against the Rockets. 3-0 on Ahmed, with John Ryan Murphy on deck. D-backs come into Memorial Day weekend one game over 500, 25-24. Only a half game behind the Rockies for the NL West lead. Here's a fly ball. This is hit deep to left center field. Nick Ahmed. That one is gone. A home run for Ahmed. And the D-backs take a 1-0 lead. Good start here in Oakland. That's what Nick can bring you. He's pretty good up there against the left-handers, and he gets the D-backs the early lead.
Good thing he hit it when he did. Got a count in his favor and barreled one up to left center field. As the evening wears on here in Oakland, that marine layer rolls in. The ball doesn't carry nearly as well later in the game, so Nick taking advantage of the favorable conditions here early and rides one out of here.
Jumbo Jack, free Jumbo Jack tomorrow. A Jack in the Box with the purchase of a large drink. The designated hitter in this American League park, John Ryan Murphy. His first career start as a DH, 246. He's got 5 homers. And all 5 home runs for John Ryan this year coming, as Bob mentioned earlier, when he's been in the starting lineup. So a chance to get that extra right-hand bat in there and up top the lineup against the left-hander Manaea. He's having trouble throwing strikes here. He's behind 2-0.
You talked to Torrey before the ball game, partner, and he kind of insinuated that we may see some different lineups over the next few days here, just trying to do anything possible to jumpstart this offense.
He had a sort of pad of scratch paper, had about a dozen different lineups on there, trying to think about moving some guys here and there, but against the lefty here, and with the DH, John Ryan, the way he's been swinging the bat on this road trip, it's made a lot of sense to put him in this DH spot, bat him third. Nick Ahmed, 399 feet, 102 miles an hour off the bat on his 7th home run this year. 2 balls, 2 strikes on the D-backs DH. Ball, strike 3. First strikeout for Manaya. 2 down.
Batting in the 4th position.
It looks like John Ryan Murphy got caught looking for something else in the 2-strike count, because Manaya just rears back and throws a 4-seamer right down the middle of the plate.
Paul Goldschmidt. He has homered twice on this road trip, first in New York and then again Wednesday in Milwaukee. There's a strike on 1. Goldie with 6 home runs this year, 5 of them coming against left-hand pitchers. Oakland has 3 defenders on the left side of the infield. And 1 misses in. 1-1.
Boy, that game Wednesday in Milwaukee, you mentioned when Goldie homered, it looked like he had made up his mind he was going to pull the ball every at bat. He hit some line drives, foul down the third base line before hitting that home run to straightaway left field.
Sort of caught in between on that one, down 1-2. What do you think about that? Should we take that as a good sign, or maybe more confident up there?
I like to think so, being more aggressive, looking for pitches middle in and then hitting them hard.
Here's a fly ball deep to left field. Pinder is at the track just shy of the wall, and that's where the ball dies for Goldie. But Nick Ahmed gets it started. His 7th has given Patrick Corbin the early lead here at the Oakland Coliseum. Nothing Diamondbacks. Your Ram truck starter for the D-backs tonight is the lefty Patrick Corbin, 2nd in the National League in strikeouts, top 10 in ERA. And tonight Patrick goes for career win number 50.
It'd be nice for Patrick. He hasn't won a ball game since the 22nd of April. He's pitched well enough to win in his next 5 starts, just hasn't had the offensive support needed.
Here's the Gays lineup. That's brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealer.
Marcus Semien, the shortstop, will lead it off. Chad Pinder, the left fielder, bats 2nd. Jed Lowry, the 2nd baseman, hitting 3rd. Matt Chapman at 3rd base. Stephen Piscotty out in right field. Matt Olson at 1st base. Jonathan Lucroy doing the catching. Mark Canha in left field. And Franklin Barreto is the DH batting 9th.
Marcus Semien, the shortstop, is the leadoff man for Bob Miller. Hitting .273. He's got some power, 5 homers. The A's beat Seattle here yesterday 4-3. That snapped a 5-game home losing streak. They have struggled offensively in their home park this year. David Peralta in left field, just shy of the warning track. Out number 1. A look around the diamond at the D-backs defense is brought to you by E.D. Marshall Jewelry.
David Peralta in action already out there in left field. Gerard Dyson in center. Chris Owings over in right field. The infield will be Jake Lamb at third. Nick Ahmed at short. Cattell Marte at second. And Paul Goldschmidt over at first base with Jeff Mathis doing the catching tonight for lefty Patrick Corbin.
The left fielder is Chad Pinder. 262, 4 homers. The A's come into tonight 2 over 500. They're 4th in the American League West. 6.5 games behind Houston for the division lead. On the ground in the hole. Lamb in front of Ahmed. Spins and throws him out. Nicely done, Jake Lamb. 2 outs. Biggest bat in the Oakland lineup has been Jed Lowry, the second baseman. He leads the A's in hits, 314. He's got 9 homers. He's a switch hitter. 8 of those 9 home runs have come as a left-hand batter. Batting from the right side against Corbin.
For Lowry, the key is staying healthy. Injuries have bothered him throughout his career. I think he's only played full season a couple of times over the course of his career.
Last year he played in over 100 games for only the 3rd time in his career. This is his 11th season. A lot of injuries along the way. Fastball's in there for a strike, and it's 1-2. Lowry got off to a terrific start this year. He hit nearly 340 in March and April. In fact, Manny Machado was the only player in baseball with more hits last month than Jed Lowry. Matt Chapman, one of the Matts on the corners, is the cleanup man. He'd be next. Lowry has slowed down a bit, hitting under 190 in his last 10 games.
Same can be said for a number of the A's hitters. They've struggled in the month of May, just like the Diamondbacks have offensively.
Full count, 3-2.
Partner, I say all the time, take your breaks where they fall, and the Diamondbacks catching a huge break in this series with no Chris Davis in the lineup for the Oakland A's. I think a lot of fans would be surprised to find out that over the last 3 years, nobody has more homers in the big leagues than Chris Davis.
And went on the DL Wednesday with a right groin strain. Lowry caught looking. A good shutdown, 1-2-3 first for Patrick Corbin. D-backs lead in Oakland. We start the second inning here in Oakland. Quicken Loans, Rocket Mortgage Breakdown. Yeah, I wonder what the D-backs and A's have in common.
That's just the tip of the iceberg right there. Bob Melvin, Trevor Cahill, Dave McKay, and Dave Magadan. So I got Matt Williams, Al Padrique over there on the Oakland side of the field.
It is amazing. There's a lot of connections here with these coaches and broadcasters. Chris Owings leads off the second against Sean Manaea.
Now, one thing you will notice in this series, Matt Chapman down there at third base plays the deepest third base of any third baseman in baseball. When the count gets to 2 strikes on a potential bunter, he will back up with his heels on the outfield grass.
Chapman has become a defensive star at third in the American League. A lot of comparisons to Nolan Arenado. He's that good defensively.
Yeah, I talked to Matt Williams about Chapman before the game, and he says he's the best he's ever seen.
Wow,
that's
really?
high praise coming from the best I've ever seen at third base.
Short right field, Piscotty coming in. And Manaea's retired 3 straight since the Ahmed home. Was there one thing in particular that Matty said he did well?
Everything. Good feet, good first movement, strong throwing arm, which allows him to play deeper than most third basemen. He said he made a play the other day, runners at first and second, and a ground ball leading him toward the third baseline. He made a tremendous backhand play. Everybody assumed he was going to step on the bag and throw to first to complete the double play. He tried to turn 3. Went to the bag, got the force out at second, and they almost completed the triple play. The throw to first was just a little bit late. He's young enough that he doesn't know there are plays that you should try to make.
They feel very good about their future with the 2 Mats on the corners, Chapman at third and Olsen at first. Jake Lamb in there against the lefty tonight, down 0-2. Jake has doubled twice and homered on this road trip. Manaea, top 10 in the American League in ERA, but just 1 win in 4 starts this month. Manaea allowed a total of 6 runs in his first 6 starts this year. He was American League Pitcher of the Month in April, but he's given up 4 runs in every start he's made in May. Not quite been the same guy. Missed away there. It's 2-2. Big, tall, lanky guy, 6'5", long arms. Ketel Marte on deck. Down the right field line, and that's a fair ball in the corner. Scotty picks it up out there, and Jake Lamb is in at second with a 1-out double.
It's a nice 2-strike approach right there by Jake Lamb. Kind of extended his swing on that off-speed pitch. Catches it out in front of the plate with a little bit of an awkward swing, but gets enough barrel on it to hook it into that right field corner. We talked about this big outfield here at the Coliseum, and routine doubles can easily turn into triples in this ballpark.
Jake's first base hit against a left-hander this season. He's at second with 1 out for Ketel Marte. This ballpark has been a good spot for Ketel Marte. Played here a lot with Seattle in the AL West. In 11 games at the Coliseum, he's hit nearly .360. Didn't go, says Ryan Blakeney at first. I notice a lot of guys, Bob, have changed facial hair. They've changed whatever they got going up top. Cattell kind of shaved his head a bit. Archie Bradley shaved his head. Alex Avila has shaved his beard. Everybody is trying to fix the mojo here.
Off days are tough when you're in a slump. You got too much time on your hands, and you try to figure out what can I do to turn things around, change the mojo a little bit, and usually it involves either adding or taking away hair.
So Cattell with a slightly cleaner look than we've seen before. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Gerard Dyson on deck, the center fielder. On the ground to Lowry at second. 2 outs, a Lamb at third.
Batting 8.
Not a ton of options for Torey Lovello against a lefty like Benaya. You've got Dyson who bats left-handed, Brito bats left-handed. And you want Dyson's glove out there in center in this big ballpark, so he's in there against the lefty tonight. 194, he's homered twice. Trying to get Lamb home from third with 2 outs. Swing and a miss, 0-1.
And it goes without saying, playing in an American League ballpark, you lose one of your bench players as the DH. Bob Melvin actually has only 3 players available off his bench tonight. The Diamondbacks have 4.
It's like Dyson's really choking up against the left-hander here. See a lot of bat handle under that bottom hand. He's got 2 doubles and a triple versus lefties this year. The bunt is down. And boy, nice play there at third by Chapman, and they get Dyson at first. Just what you were talking about, Bob. Laying back, but Chapman throws him out. It stays 1-0 D-backs. Defense at third just cost the D-backs a run there.
Man, what a play. Goes into foul territory, scooping that bunt off the bat of Gerard Dyson. We know how he gets down that first baseline, and Chapman on the run throws back into the baseline. Another nice play over at first by the other Matt Olson.
And we'll see both Matts here in the bottom of the second inning. Chapman leads it off against Patrick Corbin, hitting .240 with 8 home runs. A's have their new Kelly green alternate uniforms on tonight. A lighter green, kind of more 1970s swinging A's-ish.
Crayola green.
They had some of the former A's greats out here today earlier. Sal Bando, Kenny Holtzman was down there on the field before the game tonight.
So former Diamondbacks general manager Dave Stewart was up here on press level before the ball game.
Celebrating 50 years of Oakland A's baseball this year. This is in the air, right center. Owings coming in. Dyson is there. CO calls them all. 4 up, 4 down for Corbin. Of course, that was in the days when they had the swinging A's in the early 70s, winning 3 consecutive World Series before they built Mount Davis, which is this awful structure in center field from foul pole to foul pole that blocks the view of the hills and the highway and everything behind it, and makes this place seem like kind of a concrete dumpster.
That's pretty accurate.
Stephen Piscotty. See, they used to be able to see behind there is the lovely hills and the trees and the whole thing, and now you just look at a big pile of cement.
A monolith.
Built for Raiders football.
Just win, baby.
Nick Ahmed at shortstop. Good start for Patrick. 2 down now for Matt Olson. I'm told that this was actually I don't want to say a lovely park, but the view was certainly better back in the day. Did you ever come in here when that thing was not there?
Yeah, I do. I don't remember, but yeah, I came in here before they erected the monument to Al Davis out there in center field, but I never liked this place. Open, closed, it doesn't matter.
Here's Matt Olson, the first base of the Mats. 236 and 7 homers.
You know, playing with the Giants, we always used to play the Bay Bridge series at the end of spring training. You come north and play the A's back and forth at the home ballparks, and you know, everybody over on this side of the bay used to brag, oh, it's never cold or windy like it is at Candlestick, but every time I've been here it felt just like Candlestick. Cold and windy.
Yeah, it's a little cool here today, that's for sure. Of course, they're still trying to pay off Mount Davis. They owe some money on that, about $100 million or so. But now there's a talk that they might make progress with a better facility here now that the Raiders are moving on and the Warriors are moving on. They could actually use this site, which has been the big holdup, one of them anyway. They're headed to Vegas in about 8 months.
What could go wrong?
Exactly. Well, it's working out for the Golden Knights anyway. Stanley Cup Finals. 3-1 on Matt Olson. And there's your first Oakland base runner. A 2-out walk for Corbin. Here is Jonathan Lucroy, the catcher. 267. He's yet to homer. Lucroy has been a workhorse behind the plate for Bob Melvin so far. He's played more games and made more starts than any catcher in the American League.
And one of the few A's that has a history against Patrick Corbin, of course, with his days with the Milwaukee Brewers. Jonathan Lucroy 6 for 15 lifetime against Patrick Corbin. That's a .400 average.
Yeah, we saw a lot of Lucroy with Colorado the second half of last year, of course. Played just under 50 games with the Rockies last season.
Yeah, with Chris Davis on the disabled list, only Jonathan Lucroy and Stephen Piscotty have even seen Patrick Corbin before.
I'm guessing that's a big advantage for Patrick.
I would think so, yeah.
Well, Patrick continues to pitch well. He's held the opposition to 2 runs or fewer in 7 of his 10 starts this year. And he's got an early lead. Is away with a fastball, and it's 2-0 on Lucroy. Patrick might want to try and elevate that fastball here tonight. Jim Wolf generally gives you the high strike and the low one as well. He's kind of a north-south strike caller back there. Jeff Mathis catching for the D-backs. That's foul behind Al Pedrique at first.
And as a general rule, you don't mind guys hitting the ball in the air in this ballpark, especially from gap to gap. This doesn't seem to carry too much. In the daytime, it'll carry much better. But at night, especially as the evening wears on and the sun goes down, you got to shoot it out of a cannon to get it out of here.
Hasn't really warmed up here either. 2-1. Lucroy stuck in a 3 for 23 skid right now. And the odd thing about that is he's not hitting left-handers at all this year. Most of his damage has come against right-hand pitchers. Center fielder Mark Canha would be next. And again, Lucroy shoots it foul down the right field line.
I know Bob Melvin is glad to have a guy like Jonathan Lucroy behind the plate with this young pitching staff, especially those guys down in the bullpen. A lot of guys that haven't quite earned their stripes yet at the major league level. And Mel said it really helps to have a veteran catcher behind the plate that knows how a game should be run.
Still 2-2 on Lucroy. This is out to Peralta. And he's got it in left field. Corbin strands the 2-out walk. D-backs have a 1-0 lead. One nothing as we start the third. As you make plans to watch the new Star Wars movie this weekend, don't forget to get your tickets to D-back Star Wars Day. That's coming up next Saturday, June 2nd. First 20,000 fans with us at Chase Field will take home this Paul Solo bobblehead. That's courtesy of Cox Communications. Get your tickets at dbacks.com/Star Wars. It is Star Wars Day today here in Oakland.
Never would have known.
Yeah, they have the whole crew there, Boba Fett, Princess Leia, Darth Vader, the whole thing. And they have a massive Star Wars fireworks display planned for after the ball game. So you've been forewarned. Jeff Mathis leads off the third.
Yeah, we saw him setting up those fireworks out behind the center field wall, or on the other side of the center field wall. That should be quite a show.
Yeah, it looks like they were getting ready to blow up the Death Star back there. They got a lot of pyrotechnics planned for this Friday night here at the Coliseum. 0-2 on Mathis, who is behind the plate tonight, batting ninth against Sean Manaea. It's a good likeness.
So far, every hitter for the Diamondbacks has looked just like that.
I think this might be like our third Star Wars Day already. It feels like it.
How lucky can you get?
I mean, I like Star Wars and everything, but that's a lot of Star Wars.
I think everybody on our crew stood in line to watch the premiere last night.
Did they?
Yeah.
Did Brad go? Brad, did you go?
Sure he did.
I did not. Ed, I did not know that. Stood in line, huh?
Well, I'm assuming they stood in line unless they know somebody. Of course, Todd's on this trip, so yeah, they probably got in early.
I believe he bought his ticket like a month ago, planning that he was going to be in San Francisco on that day. That's the day it comes out, so he was there. Mission accomplished. Full count on Mathis, 3-2. Yeah, our producer Brad the Big Dog Weimer is a big Star Wars guy.
Oh yeah.
This is our second Star Wars day on this road trip, in fact. Peralta will be next. Ball 4, leadoff walk for Mathis. First walk issued by the left-hander Sean Manaea. Here's former Oakland A's great Dave McKay coaching at first. Peralta grounded out to lead off the ball game. Sean Manaea has a very good 3-pitch repertoire. The slider is his only breaking pitch. He's got a terrific changeup. And it was a guy that threw upper 90s in college. He's an Indiana State Sycamore. Now he's low 90s, relies more on command. An overpowering fastball. That one rolls through into center. Mathis digs for third, and he's in there. They're on the corners with no outs to start the D-backs third. Boy, it looked for a second like Jeff was going to stay put at second base, decided to take off anyway.
I'm not sure if that was intentional or not. We used to do that back in the day and call it ghosting. You get to the bag, you slow down as you round the bag and watch the center fielder and see if he relaxes at all. And if he does, you just turn on the jets and keep going. It looks like that's what Jeff Mathis did right there. Gave the appearance to Mark Hanna that he was going to stop at second base and then just kept on going.
Good start to the third here. Peralta's now hit safely in 5 straight games. Here's Nick Ahmed, who homered in the first, his 7th of the year. This was Nick's second batter of the ball game, deep to left center off Sean Manaea.
Yeah, did a nice job of working the count in his favor. Ran it to 3-0, took a strike, and then blasted one out of here to left center field. You talk about the Sean Manaea slider. He throws it mostly to left-handed hitters. He'll throw the changeup more to the righties. The thing about his changeup is occasionally he gets around his changeup and it will cut into a right-hander away from a left-hander. Very unusual movement for a left-handed changeup. Generally they fade down and away from a right-handed hitter, but occasionally he'll throw one that cuts back into a right-handed hitter.
This is kind of the way it's gone for Manaea this month. 1 win in 4 starts in May. And he's in trouble early here in this one. That's chopped to third. Fair ball for Chapman. Nothing Mathis could do there. He has to stay put. Peralta moves up 1 away.
Yeah, really nothing the base runners could do and nothing else Chapman could do down there at third base. Once Mathis went back to the bag, the only play he had was to go across the diamond for the out.
The DH batting third tonight, John Ryan Murphy. Struck out looking his first time up. Murphy lifts one deep left center field, and that ball is off the base of the wall. Mathis is home. Here comes Peralta. John Ryan Murphy, a 2-run double, and it's 3-0 D-backs.
Ryan Murphy gets a pitch up in the zone that time. Might have snuck down just a little bit toward the trademark. Probably the only thing that kept that ball in the park. That's a home run swing from John Ryan Murphy. Home run trajectory. Just got out there to the warning track and died at the base of the wall near the 388 mark to drive in 2.
Boy, that is the big hit, Bob, that we haven't seen in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Second and third, and he comes up, bangs one off the wall.
We've very rarely seen 2 runners on base in the same inning, but John Ryan Murphy cashes them in.
Big hit there. 3-0 now. Still only 1 out. Here's Goldie. Goldie flat out his
Number
first time
44,
up.
Paul Goldschmidt.
It's easy to get lost in all the negative stats that have been generated here this month. But this is one narrative that really needs to change. Goldie this year 3 for 32 with runners in scoring position. A chance to get that turned around right here. On the ground to third. Chapman again. Oh, he dropped it. And Goldie's aboard. E5. Goldschmidt at first.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free crunchy beef tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations. Yeah, it looked like Olsen, or rather Chapman, just kind of took his eye off the ball momentarily to check the runner at second base, and when he did, he couldn't field it cleanly. Gets to the ball in pretty good shape. He just didn't look it all the way in, off the little finger of the glove, and drops harmlessly behind.
A chance for Chris Owings now. Murphy at second, Goldie at first. Fastball's a strike, 0-1. Carved out to pretty deep right center field. As Scotty has it shy of the warning track. Goldie back to the bag at first. Murphy advances. And they're on the corners with 2 outs. Well, Jake Lamb is first time up against Sean Manaea. Double down the right field line. His first base hit against a left-hander this year.
Pretty alert base running that time by John Ryan Murphy. We talked about how big the outfield is here at the Coliseum, and on even routine fly balls to the outfield, most of the time you should be able to tag up in advance. It's a long throw or 2 throws from right field to third base.
Lamb's double in the second inning, already his 3rd double on this road trip. He's homered as well. Fastball misses up. Jake's ahead 2-0. Missed with another fastball there. 3-0 with Ketel Marte on deck. Ball 4. The bases are full of D-backs. Second walk in the inning for Manaea. And here comes Marte.
Now batting, number 4,
Ketel grounded out his first time up. The 8th man to bat in the D-back 3rd. Murphy at 3rd, Goldie at 2nd, and Lamb at 1st. Got a First pitch fastball there. That one caught Lucroy, looks like.
You used to be able to walk out to the mound while you were trying to catch your breath, but that would be a mound visit. So Jonathan Lucroy just kind of lurking around there in front of home plate, now into foul territory to talk to the trainer and his skipper Bob Melvin. Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
5-hole. Yeah, now you got to kind of just wander aimlessly around the infield. You can go anywhere but the mound. Anaya approaching 60 pitches here. It's already been a 22-pitch inning for him. Base is full and 2 outs. Well, it probably stopped hurting, right?
Well,
no, it's not how it works. 0-1.
the particular injury that Jonathan Lucroy is trying to shake off right now is very unusual, and every catcher in the world will tell you this. You feel the sensation of contact. You feel the baseball hit you.
Right.
And you know, oh boy, that is really going to hurt, but it doesn't come on immediately. There's like a 5-second delay before the pain actually sets in.
I think we saw that. Lucroy walked out there and they had to take a knee. I think his 5 seconds were up. Marte on the ground, almost clipped Goldie there. Simeon tosses it to Lowry. They get the force on Lamb. That ends the inning. But the D-backs in Oakland have a 3-0 lead.
Archie Bradley chasing that story of the haircuts. The autumn wind, Steve, was a haircut. Had to drop that on you.
The autumn wind is a pirate blustering in from sea. With
Yes.
a rollicking song, he sweeps along, swaggering voices.
Thank you for the late, great John Facetta's heart.
Well, it is Oakland.
Absolutely. You just saw the video of Archie Bradley, who took his hat off on our pregame show on Diamondbacks Live. I can tell you this, that Archie said, I thought this was maybe desperate times for calling for desperate measures, and he said, no, that would have been shaving the beard.
Yes.
But
let's not get that desperate.
No, he did just say, look, it's time to change things up and try to get some mojo going in the right way. But as I mentioned, to anybody that has the courage to shave their head, you know, at some point at a certain age, you wonder if it's going to grow back. And he said that there were some guys on the team that were on the no haircut list because they were rapidly approaching their last haircut, which really hurts when you think about it.
Why are you looking at me?
I just looked down the hallway.
I did notice that. 1-2 on Mark Canha, who gets into one. This is hit deep to left field and gone. Mark Canna his 7th, and the Gays are on the board. It's 3-1.
It looked like a slider working its way down and in, but just kind of hovers over the middle of the plate and down, and Mark Canna golfs it out of here just over that fence in left field.
Franklin Barreto, the DH. Were any names named as to who might possibly be up against
Yes.
the haircut timeline?
He went right to the top.
Wow.
He dropped Torey Lavello's name, TJ McFarland, and then he just sort of stopped. He didn't want to keep running over teammates with a bus, but he did start with Torey. That's courage, though.
It is.
I'll tell you one thing, the haircut that Archie has right now, you could light a kitchen match off the top of his head.
Yes.
Looks like sandpaper.
He talked about how, as Barreto strikes out, talked about how this ballpark at night kind of suffocates home runs. The A's have been on a power drought lately. They had gone seven home games without a homer, the longest streak in Oakland history, until Canna took that one deep. First home run here for Oakland since May 5th.
Wow.
20 days ago. Marcus Semien, the shortstop. What do you make of these Vegas nights, by the way? How did they screw that up?
How did who?
The league.
Mess up an expansion team going to Stanley Cup Finals?
Yeah. What happened in that meeting?
I could give you a couple of hours. Well, it starts with goaltending, by the way.
All right.
They got a goalie, Marc-Andre Fleury, and it's been the best goalie I think in playoff history. And they break down the analytics. And you know what they did? Can I just say this very quickly? This is all-encompassing and for any sport. They went out and got a bunch of guys that aren't on long-term contracts that are trying to prove their value to Las Vegas. They cared about the kind of guy that they got in the room. They wanted them to be of a certain character, knowing that this team was in Las Vegas, frankly.
What could happen?
Right. And they're all chasing the same carrot at the end of the stick. And they have a goalie. There's that.
Did they get the Selke Trophy winner?
I don't think that's been announced yet.
Well, what's the holdup?
You know what? I'll be on that soon and provide details later.
It's always my favorite hockey day of the year.
I can tell. You missed me, didn't you, on this trip?
It's good to have you.
Yeah, thanks.
It's nice to have Jody, too.
Yeah.
But she earned a break from
Yes, she
us,
did.
frankly.
Yes.
Well, Corbin bouncing back. He strikes out Barreto and Semien. 2 down in the Oakland third. Here's Chad Pinder.
And if I could, Steve, and then maybe we'll talk about this later, I do want to thank Bob Brenly for sitting in on Diamondbacks Live and going one-on-one with his former bench coach, Bob Melvin. We'll have more on that tomorrow. But
I know he looked like a Geraldo down there chasing down a
well, he
some
did,
kind
didn't
of journalistic miscreant. Part of his aggressive in-your-face style. Pinder hits one to deep center. Dyson's got all kinds of room out there, and he did it again. Gerard Dyson up against the wall, and that ends the Oakland third. Oh, we're just getting spoiled by Gerard Dyson in center. D-backs lead at 3-1. Then lead off the next half inning. Here we are again. Gerard Dyson leads off the fourth against left-hander Sean Manaea. Dyson, a terrific catch up against the wall in deep right center field. Third time on this trip he's done this.
Yeah, I don't believe this one would have left the ballpark. He caught it down near the heel of his glove, but up against that wall once again. Certainly extra bases if he doesn't make that play.
Manaea can't backhand it. It gets under the glove of Lowry, and Dyson's got himself a leadoff single against the lefty.
Number 2.
Once that ball gets by the pitcher's mound, if he doesn't make a play cleanly and it rolls through over the bag at second base, there's no way a middle infielder is going to get Gerard Dyson at first base.
D-backs with 3 runs on 5 hits already as we start the fourth inning. Here's Mathis, who walked and scored his first time. Dyson with a healthy lead over there at first. Olsen holds it on the bag. Gerard 8 for 10 this year in stolen base attempts.
Yeah, Manaea has been very quick to home plate with that slide step. Not sure what kind of move he has to first base. Dyson was able to read that one rather easily, but Manaea is very quick to home plate.
Starts Mathis off with strike 1.
Series.
Oakland Coliseum, certainly familiar ground for Jeff Mathis. He's played in 35 games here already. Long time, of course, with the Angels and the Blue Jays. He's homered here before. Dyson holding, and Jeff fouls that one away. It's 0-2. For what it's worth, 11 of the last 12 base stealers against the A's have been successful.
Well, Lucroy behind the plate has always had a very quick release, doesn't always have a strong throwing arm, but he gets rid of the ball quickly and lets his middle infielders deal with it down there at second base.
Dyson not running. Mathis fouls that one off as well.
And the key to any base stealing is the pitcher on the mound, and as I mentioned, Manaea very quick to home plate unless there's something they can read in his delivery.
Every guy obviously is different, but what percentage do you think of stolen bases come against the pitcher versus against the catcher?
Oh man, I'd say that probably 75% of them come against the pitcher.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there's occasions where the pitcher unloads the ball quickly, the base runner doesn't get a great jump, and the catcher doesn't make a good throw to second base. I put that one mostly on the catcher, but as we've seen with Dave McKay down there at first base and all the video scouting that's available, if that pitcher has some kind of a tell out there on the mound, it's going to be discovered.
Haven't seen any signs yet that Dyson would be running. 1-2 on Mathis. Still holding over there. Fastball almost went to the backstop. 2-2. Leadoff man David Peralta on deck. D-backs already with 3 runs on 5 hits. Mathis knocks that to left field. Pinder has to play it on a hop. Jeff Mathis has walked and singled. First 2 have reached the D-backs 4th.
One of those bottom of the order rallies. The number 8 hitter Gerard Dyson reaches on that infield hit. Jeff Mathis bangs one into left field, putting D-backs at first and second for the top of the order in David Peralta.
Peralta singled and scored his last time up. He's now got a 5-game hitting streak. This one is belted down the right field line, but hooks foul. Peralta this year Hitting better than .420 with runners in scoring position. He's got first and second and no outs here. Slaps that foul, and it's 0-2.
Thought we might see a sacrifice bunt attempt by David Peralta with runners at first and second, nobody out, lefty on lefty with a bunch of right-handers lined up behind him, but no sign of a bunt on those first two deliveries. You probably won't see one this at bat.
Seems to be part of an American League mentality that you might adopt here with a DH in the lineup. And I already at 70 pitches here, no outs in the fourth. And that bullpen back there is a little tired for Bob Melvin. Peralta waves at that one.
I mentioned that Manaea uses the slider mostly against left-handed pitching, and that's what he started David Peralta with. The first two deliveries to Peralta, sliders. He pulled one foul way down the line, fouls that one off to the third base side. Manaea misses away with a fastball and then comes right back with a slider in the dirt for strike three.
Nick Ahmed has homered and grounded out. Got the D-backs on the board. Two batters into the game with a solo shot, his 7th of the year. There's that Manaea changeup, 0-1. Nick's home run in the first, his 4th against a left-hander this year. One of the reasons he's batting in the 2-hole here tonight. Down 0-2. Dyson single to lead off the inning. Mathis had a base hit. Peralta struck out 0-2 on Ahmed. Nick fouls that one away. Long run for Olson. Boy, it is amazing when you actually get into this ballpark. I know it looks big on TV, but you get in here and the amount of foul ground is remarkable compared to what we normally see. I would think, Bob, in this situation with all this foul ground, that pitchers really have to make sure, the D-backs pitchers, that they back up bases.
Oh, absolutely. Not only the pitchers, but if the outfielders aren't involved in a play, the corner outfielders, you might as well run in and back up a base on the infield.
Ahmed drops that one into left field. With Dyson speed, he will come on in. He's across with a 4th D-backs run. RBI single for Nick Ahmed.
It's like a changeup once again. Nick catches it right off the end of the bat.
Number 36.
Good 2-strike approach that time. We've seen a couple of those for the Diamondbacks tonight, shortening up their swing with 2 strikes, just trying to put the ball in play, and Nick gets an RBI single into left field.
His 2nd RBI hit tonight. And here's John Ryan Murphy, who had a 2-run double off the wall in left center field his last time up. 4 runs on 7 hits for the D-backs. Bullpen gets busy for the A's. Murphy hits it deep to center. Canna backing up. He's at the track. Mathis will head for third. Emilio Pagan,
Now
the right-hander, getting loose for the A's.
Yeah, you mentioned the A's bullpen a little bit dinged up. Bob Melvin has had 3 bullpen games in the last 2 weeks, including their last game yesterday. Just have to mix and match as best you can. He said those guys are running on fumes down there right now. He was hoping to get a long outing out of his starter.
A chance for Goldie. Runners in the corners and 2 down. Fastball's a strike, 0-1. Mathis at third, Ahmed at first. D-backs with 3 hits in this inning against Sean Manaea. Fastball right there at the knees. Goldie down 0-2. Told you Jim Wolf will expand that strike zone north and south more so than east and west. Dave Manaea the low strike that time.
Goldschmidt just looking for that one at bat where everything comes together, where his timing is perfect. He gets a pitch he should swing at and puts a good aggressive swing on it, barrels it up somewhere, get everything back into rhythm.
Chased a high fastball. Goldie tonight has flied out and reached on an error by the third baseman Chapman. Manaea now at 80 pitches in the ball. .53 strikes. Lays off that one down and away. 1-2. Manaea 24 pitches in the third inning. He's up to 22 here in the fourth. Keep an eye on Ahmed at first.
As I mentioned earlier, Manaea's calling card this season has been efficiency, averaging just under 14 pitches per inning, the lowest in the majors. Really making him work hard here tonight.
One and two to Goldie. Ahmed breaks for second. Lucroy. No throw. Good read there by Nick.
A little slider down and in. Gets in the dirt. Lucroy does a nice job of sliding over to block that ball, but Nick got a great jump. Read the trajectory, saw that ball in the dirt, and easily moves up 90 feet.
They scored a wild pitch charged to Manaea. Now a single can score two. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Goldie belts it to left field. Pinder coming in, and he can't get it. It rolls behind him. Mathis is home. Ahmed is home. Goldie going to stop at third. It's 6-1 D-backs. He scored a triple for Goldie.
Sinking line drive out there to left field, came on an elevated changeup, and Goldie too catches his off the end of the bat, which lets it die out there in front of Chad Pinder. Nice effort, but boy, you better be really sure you can keep that ball in front, because as we just saw, that's a triple if you don't knock it down.
And it's tacos.
Hey! Woo! Second time this month.
The mojo is turning here on the other side of the Bay Bridge. Manaea's night ends here. It's 6-1 D-backs. Back from Oakland after this. Paul Goldschmidt, his third triple this year, tacks on 2 more runs. D-backs have a 6-1 lead in the 4th inning. And on from that tired A's bullpen, just up from AAA Nashville, the right-hander Emilio Pagan.
4 home runs allowed in 15 2/3 this season.
Chris Owings 0 for 2, can tack on another run right here. D-backs with 1 in the 1st, 2 in the 3rd, now 3 in the 4th. This is the most runs the D-backs have scored since May 8th at Dodger Stadium. Hard to third. Chapman swallows that one up. And that ends the inning. But the D-backs in Oakland lead the A's 6-1.
Baseball history brought to you by Geico. We go back to the 2002 season. Randy Johnson picked up strikeout number 3,509 to pass Walter Johnson for 7th place on the all-time strikeout list. The victim was Brian Jordan.
Well, we got another pretty good lefty out there tonight, Patrick Corbin, who now holds a 6-1 lead as Jen Lowry. The Oakland second baseman leads off the A's 4th. First pitch, roll right to shortstop for Nick Ahmed.
Shutdown inning. Good start. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Patrick so far has walked 1. He has struck out 3. Mark Canha's homer, the only hit and run for Oakland so far. Here's the third baseman, Matt Chapman. Chapman flying out to right his first time up. Now with 239 on the year. He's got good power, 8 homers. Chapman's out of El Toro High School in Lake Forest, California. That is, coincidentally, not ironically, the same high school as Nolan Arenado, a player he's often being compared to now, especially defensively. A's took him out of El Toro High with a first-round pick 4 years ago. Popped up behind shortstop. Nick Ahmed wants it. 2 outs. Five in a row set down by Corbin since the Canha homer. Here's Stephen Piscotty. It's been a difficult season for Stephen Piscotty, the Bay Area native. Grew up right nearby. Played collegiately at Stanford. He was a first-round pick out of Palo Alto by the Cardinals, of course, traded from St. Louis last December. In large part to be near home, where his mother Gretchen had been battling Lou Gehrig's disease, and Steven's mom passed away earlier this month. And Piscotty, following his mom's death, went on the bereavement list, missed 4 games. And he came back and rejoined the A's in Boston. When he did, he hit a home run in his first at bat.
How about that?
Wasn't that something? So he's been through a great deal the last year or so. The whole family has.
Tip of the cap to the Cardinals and the A's for making that happen, too. I mean, obviously, business comes first in Major League Baseball, but this was one case where I think everybody involved realized it was in the best interest of Stephen Piscotty and the game of baseball to have a gesture like that.
Couldn't agree more. 2 class organizations, and things were handled very well. They got 2 good minor league players in return for Piscotty. Two and 2. The A's right fielder. To second base, Ketel Marte. There's your shutdown inning. 6 in a row retired by Corbin. D-backs lead the A's 6-1. Out of the ball game, and we lead here in Oakland. This summer, the World Cup is coming to Fox and FS1. Every match live. 300 hours of coverage. The world's biggest sporting event begins June 14th on Fox and FS1. Jake Lamb leads off the D-backs 5th. Right-hander Emilio Pagan placing Manaya, who got roughed up here tonight. Lamb has doubled and walked. Both those bats coming against a left-hander. A's have 3 infielders on the first base side. Simeon, the shortstop, out in short right field. Lowry near the bag at second. 3-1.
Their hitters count here. Diamondbacks have done a nice job of getting counts in their favor in this ball game and then unleashing some very aggressive swings.
Second walk of the ball game. Lamb has reached base safely all 3 times. He's been up. Leadoff man aboard again.
Hey, fans, the day after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code D-backs50 at papajohns.com.
Third straight inning, the D-backs have had the leadoff man reach. Here's Ketel Marte, who's 0 for 2. Marte and Owings, the only D-backs who do not have base hits so far tonight. Ketel is twice grounded out. Here's the strike, 0-1. Marte spins around now and bats from the left-hand side against Pagano. There's the now requisite throw over to first with Jake Lamb on the base. A mystery we've yet to solve over the last few years.
He must look fast to opposing pitchers when they peek over their left shoulder over there to first base. He must look like a base stealer.
Jim Wolf usually gives you that call. Not that time. It's 1-1. That fastball down and away. Ball and 2 strikes on Ketel Marte. Gerard Dyson on deck. Dyson singled and scored his last time.
I think I've kind of figured it out, partner, why teams assume that Jake Lamb's going to run. Look at those shoes.
They look fast.
He looks fast.
The D-backs teal and the A's Kelly green here tonight, kind of clashing. 2-2. Another fastball away. Full count.
Let's see if Jake Lamb is on the move down there using those fast shoes to break for second base as the pitch is delivered. It really depends on the confidence Torrey has in Ketel Marte's ability to make contact on a strike.
Full count, 3-2. Here it is. Lamb breaks for second. Marte lifts it in the air along the left field line. Pinder running over. And he's got it in fair territory. Lamb back in the bag at first.
Now batting, number 1,
Gerard Dyson.
Dyson.
He has singled and scored. He's made another terrific catch up against the wall in center field. And Dyson with Kansas City and Seattle in his careers. Been here before. He's played 10 games at the Oakland Coliseum. Better than a .300 hitter in this ballpark. .94 down and away. He's in there for a strike.
That's a good take by Gerard Dyson. When you're up there looking to cherry pick a first pitch fastball, you better make sure it's a fastball you can do something with. That one down low and away, the edge of the strike zone. Probably going to result in a ground ball somewhere in the infield. So probably a good take, even though he's behind in the count 0-1.
This is popped up behind shortstop. Simeon drifting out there. Pinder calls him off. 2 down. That'll bring up Jeff Mathis. Mathis batting 9th tonight. Has already had a big night. He's walked, singled, and scored twice.
Jeff Mathis.
Torey Lovello has Mathis behind the plate catching, and John Ryan Murphy as the DH. Murphy batting 3rd. Trying to shake things up a little bit. We might see some more shakeups later this series. Got that fastball in, tied him up at 0-1. Emilio Pagan had a rough time of things when he was first up with Oakland last month. Gave up 7 earned runs in 7 innings over 6 games and was sent back down to AAA Nashville. Just got recalled today. He'd been down there all month long. Came in with a fastball again. No, he didn't go, says Ryan Blakeney. It's a ball and a strike. Just foul it there. What was the World Series like here?
It was crazy. I mean, it's a big ballpark.
Yeah.
You can imagine every seat filled. It was loud. And unfortunately, the A's had their way with the Giants in 1989. That was the Earthquake Series, and we bumped up against their number 1 and 2, Mike Moore and Dave Stewart, twice.
As you mentioned, we saw Stu here earlier tonight.
Travel was relatively easy.
I bet it was, except for the earthquakes. Those great World Series teams, 72, 3 and 4, then the 89 team managed by Tony La Russa. Peralta hoping to get a chance. 2 and 2 on Mathis. Lamb at first, 2 outs. Got him. Pagan strands the leadoff walk. D-backs lead the A's 6-1.
Backs in the bottom of the 5th, and Steve and Bob, earlier when I came into your booth, I mentioned how much we appreciated from our entire staff on Diamondbacks Live that Bob Brenly took over the host duties and went one-on-one with his former bench manager, or coach, I should say, Bob Melvin, skipper of the Oakland A's. There's a little not staged footage of those two chatting after the interview was done.
Picked up by our hidden cameras.
They're all over the place. That interview, the first part, is up on our social media platforms. If you missed the pregame show, as you called strike one to start the game, but there is another element of it that will air on tomorrow's pregame show, and I couldn't wait because I weaseled my way into the interview, Steve.
As is your wont, W-O-N-T.
O-N-T, yes. And there's a ball. I wanted to present something to Bob Melvin and Bob Brenly, and then to Tori Lavello. It was something that Bob said to me, Bob Melvin, many years ago when we did a show at his house, and in my own words here in Fox Sports Arizona, about, and there was another strike, what it is like to be the leader of a group, especially in rough times. And Bob Melvin told me the one thing he learned along the way was, as the leader, as a manager, when he walks into the clubhouse the next day, he realizes all eyes are on him, and he has to act accordingly. There's a foul ball.
That's something that Torrey talks a lot about, Todd. He wants his players to see him as the same guy in good times and in bad.
Yes.
It's something he's very much aware of.
Yep, and I chased that over to Torrey later, but Bob Brenly, I love the fact that Bob Melvin laid that at your feet. That's where he got it.
You didn't? I thought you were in there beating up trash cans and stuff.
I did a lot of that too. It just, you have to feel it. You have to feel what your team needs. Do they need me to bang on this trash can and show how upset I am so they can relax a little bit, or do they just need even keel? Everything's okay. We're going to be fine. And I felt that at times they needed to hear that trash can.
And then there was a time I heard on the radio today where you decided to, when things were really going bad, to plan the World Series parade.
Yeah, the guys were upset we weren't playing well, a real rough stretch of the season, and called a team meeting and walked into the room with as dead a face as I could possibly put on. And I could tell just by looking at the guys in the room that they were waiting to get aired out. And I said, boy, this is tough times, guys, but there's a big decision we need to make, and we need to make it right now. Do you want the World Series parade to go up and down Van Buren or up and down Central? Think about it. And I walked out of the room.
Were they all confused?
Oh, yeah. They played better when they were confused.
Olsen, long at bat, knocks the 3-2 into center. Just the second hit for Oakland against Patrick Corbin, a leadoff single here in the 5th.
Well, in conclusion, it was great to hear you guys speak of that together, and the element of that to me that was most intriguing, Bob, was Bob Melvin was talking about the morning after or the day after when he got to the clubhouse. Like, all right, last night was bad. It's over. I'm going to walk in and we begin anew. And that's the part that I thought was most intriguing, where he went in with a purpose, even though it was still killing him that last night was a loss.
That's something Mel and I both inherited from Roger Craig. We didn't like to lose very much. It was tough to put on a good face at times. I mean, what we've seen the last 2 or 3 weeks here with the Diamondbacks, you can imagine if you're the guy down there in that seat responsible for that team. You exhaust every possibility you can think of to jumpstart your team, but ultimately you realize it's on them.
Lucroy. And Torrey's been grinding, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
As tough as it's been for D-backs fans, that guy right there, he has looked for every possible solution, and he's been wearing it for a while. He's got lineups coming out of his pockets and shoes and every little idea he can think of. But I think you're right, Bob. It just, in the end, there's only so much the guy who's in charge can do. Can't swing the bats or make the pitches. Lifted along the line for Owings in right field. CO does a nice job to run that down. 1 away.
The conversation, though, did go off the tracks when Bob started talking about a Pink Floyd concert here, and then Bob Melvin's talking about Fleetwood Mac here. I saw Pearl Jam open for the Rolling Stones here. We got off the wheels pretty quickly.
Slightly, yeah.
That's tomorrow on the pregame show.
Art Canna, the center fielder, homered to lead off the 3rd, his 7th of the year. Davis swinging, popped up, way behind second. Owings comes on in front of Martin.
Well, back in the playing days when Bob Melvin and I were teammates with the San Francisco Giants, our second baseman was Robbie Thompson, and we all lived here in the Bay Area in the offseason, whereas most of the players went home, wherever that was. So the three of us with our wives would get together once a month in the offseason, and each one of us was scheduled to play in the evening. Limos and dinners and concerts or shows or whatever it was. And yeah, one of the outings with the Thompsons, the Melvins, and the Brentlys was to come here to this ballpark to watch Pink Floyd.
Comfortably numb you were.
Indeed.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, thanks.
Franklin Barreto, the DH. Hitless in 3 at-bats this season. He struck out his first time up tonight. Just up from AAA Nashville this week. Chris Davis, as we mentioned earlier, just went on the DL the other day with a groin strain. By the way, Paul Simon is next door right now.
He is.
In Golden State's arena.
That's right. The farewell tour.
You and Julio down by the schoolyard.
Yeah. for Emily, wherever I may find her. That was art. Sorry.
Wow. That one kicks away from Mathis. Barreto hustle into the bag. Jeff does a nice job to get back there and complete the strikeout. They strand the leadoff single. We'll head to the 6th in Oakland. D-backs lead the game 6-1.
All military by sharing a photo or video with hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
All working for the D-backs here tonight in Oakland. 6 runs on 8 hits. In the meantime, Patrick Corbin has given up only 2 hits over 5 innings. And the D-backs lead as we start the 6th. David Peralta leads it off. Against right-hander Emilio Pagan, who came on for lefty Sean Manaea. David singled and scored in the 3rd. He's 1 for 3. Manaea knocked out of the ball game early. Way too early for Bob Melvin today. The 4th time in the last 8 games that Oakland starter did not complete 4 innings. So that's going to wear out a bullpen in a hurry. So Pagan is up here, just called up from AAA Nashville today to help get some fresh arms back there.
Yeah, depending on how much Pagan throws here tonight, he may be on the shuttle right back to AAA to get another healthy arm up here tomorrow.
Everybody's been there at some point.
Yep.
2-0 on Peralta. The guys doing most of the damage have been the guys up top. Peralta, Ahmed, Murphy, Goldie. Those 4 have combined to go 5 for 12 with 6 RBIs. David has singled. He scored a run. Nick Ahmed has a home run and an RBI single. He scored twice. John Ryan Murphy a 2-run double. Goldie a 2-run triple. That one is thrown into right field. Peralta's second hit tonight. And again, the D-backs have the leadoff man aboard. Let's see, 4 consecutive innings. The first guy he's reached.
Yeah, David saw 3 fastballs in that sequence along with a changeup. First fastball is away for ball 1. Comes back with a changeup that David takes in the dirt. Takes a good aggressive swing at a 2-0 fastball right there, and then gets a fastball inside and bangs it through that right side. We've seen a lot more aggressive swings in this ball game tonight. Guys have gotten counts in their favor and been very aggressive.
Now we've got a trainer out there taking a look at Jed Lowry. You just mentioned a moment ago, Bob, he has always had problems staying healthy. He's got all that dirt on his chest there. Let's have a look at Lowry at second base.
Oh, kind of rolled that left wrist underneath. A little bit reminiscent of A.J. Pollock in left center field at Chase.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, watch the glove kind of roll underneath there. The thumb, the wrist gets bent in the wrong direction.
Well, they're going to leave him out there for now. He appears to be okay. Thank goodness.
Now batting, number 13, Nick Ahmed.
Imagine playing, if you're Jed Lowry, 11 years in the major leagues, and he's played more than 100 games only 3 times. Nick Ahmed homered in the first, and RBI single in the fourth. Peralta takes off. Here's the throw from Lucroy. And David is in there with his second stolen base this year.
Boy, guys are plugged in tonight. David Peralta gets a good jump against Pagan. Goes in hard with a foot first slide, easily ahead of Lucroy's throw that time. Keep that foot on there. Attaboy.
Pitch was a strike to Nick. It's 0-1. Pagan, for the most part, keeping that fastball down. Ahead of Nick 0-2 with John Ryan Murphy on deck. That was the first base hit given up by Pagan. Peralta's single. He's walked 1, struck out 1. Got caught looking at another fastball. 1 out in the 6th.
Number 36, John
Ryan Murphy, the DH, batting third tonight. Banged a 2-run double off the wall in left center field back in the 3rd. D-backs got 1 in the 1st on the Ahmed homer, 2 in the 3rd on the Murphy double, 3 runs in the 4th. They lead it 6-1. They've out hit the A's 9-2.
Probably wouldn't want to do it in a 6-1 ball game here, but if you watch Jonathan Lucroy behind the plate, sometimes his throws back to the pitcher, he receives the ball and just lobs a lollipop back to the mound.
We saw that a few years ago where Michael McHenry was catching for the Rockies. He was doing that, and David Peralta stole home. He was standing at 3rd, took advantage of it.
He just kind of has a little flip throw back to the mound, and occasionally he'll catch the ball and get rid of it so quickly back to the mound on a little loopy throw that an alert base runner can hold your secondary lead until he's just about ready to release the ball and then try to steal that next base.
Murphy ahead, 2 balls and no strikes. Peralta the runner at 2nd and 1 out.
That's a good pull. I couldn't remember who that was. Michael McHenry. That's right.
There's an exciting play. Peralta just took off. Is that the kind of thing where the catcher's just got so much stuff running through his head he kind of forgets about the guy down there?
Yeah, I mean, you're taught to always check the runner, especially at third base, but at any base, and make sure that he has stopped and is going back to the base before you throw the ball back to the pitcher.
3-0 with Goldie on deck. All four. Missed with a fastball. Second walk for Pagan. 2 on and 1 out for Goldie, who had a 2-run triple his last time up. This was Goldie in the 4th in front of Pinder in left.
Sinking line drive. Pinder makes the attempt out there, and it rolls all the way to the wall in left field. That'll clear the bases, and Goldie ended up at third.
His 3rd triple this year. Made it 6-1 D-backs. Jammed him in with a fastball. Infield fly rule is called. Boy, we just keep seeing that time and time again, Bob. Teams coming inside on Goldie with fastballs.
Yeah, we mentioned his last game in Milwaukee. It looked like he made a concerted effort to get to some of those inside fastballs, but yeah, the A's apparently their advance report says to try to pound Goldschmidt inside.
Chris Owings 0 for 3. 2 on and 2 out.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Goldie should be a dead pull hitter. That's not his strength. His strength is gap to gap. He's strong enough to hit the ball out to any part of the ballpark. But he's been pitched inside so frequently lately. I just thought it might be in his own best interest and the team's best interest to turn and burn on some of those inside fastballs and get him out of there.
Chris Owings trying to join the hit parade here. He and Marte, the only D-back starters who do not have base hits tonight. Each guy 0 for 3. D-backs first visit to the Oakland Coliseum since July of 2011, and it's Star Wars night here.
Great timing.
They're gathering on the concrete steps out there. That's in the right field corner. There must be trouble down there. Or it could just be a routine Friday here in Oakland.
Pretty good chance.
There's that low strike call by Jim Wolf. 1-2. That was below the knees a bit. David Peralta is the runner at second base. John Ryan Murphy at first. 2 outs. We've seen Bob C.O. chase fastballs all over the place. Up, away, in. He's always been a really good fastball hitter. And you want to see him swing aggressively at fastballs, but not ones that are up so high or so far off the plate like that.
Yeah, strike fastballs. He can handle a strike fastball. It doesn't matter the velocity, especially if it's belt high, maybe a little above that. But chasing every fastball he sees right now.
Still 1-2. That one bounces up to home plate. saw the other night, the other day in Milwaukee. Brent Suter, the left-hander, just kept getting CO with 87-mile-an-hour fastballs up. Climbing the ladder. Lamb would be next. To shortstop, Simeon. Pagan strands two. It stays 6-1. D-backs in Oakland. Lead 6-1 here in Oakland. Fans, remember, you can watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand at home in the office or on the go with MLB.tv. It includes MLB at Bat Premium, which lets you watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. The shortstop Marcus Simeon 0 for 2. Leads off the A6th. Patrick Corbin coming off a 15-pitch fifth inning. And now it's 70 pitches, 45 for strikes. Patrick has walked 1. He struck out 4, giving up just 2 hits. One was Mark Canha's solo homer to lead off the third. That's been all the A's offense so far. Who wants it? Who can get there? Oh, Chris Owings. Did he hang on? No, he didn't. He dropped it. Boy, CO really had to run a long way to get that one over by the D-back bullpen. Almost made a terrific sliding grab. We saw him make a nice play like that up against the wall in Milwaukee earlier this week.
Long run. He gets his glove there, but just off the little finger and then down to the grass. You know, when you go to a tryout camp as a baseball player, one of the things they have you do is run a 40-yard dash. You don't usually have to run 40 yards very often in baseball, but in this ballpark, corner outfielders might have to do it.
There's the Corbin slider. That's his 5th strikeout. There is all kinds of room out there, fair and foul. There's Chad Pinder, the left fielder, 0 for 2. Bullpen busy again for the A's. They're going to run out of arms back there. Pinder wanted to check, couldn't. 0-1. Pinder over his last 10 games has struck out in nearly half his at bats. So far tonight he's grounded out fly out, down 0-2. Patrick Corbin been pretty efficient here tonight. 75 pitches through 5 1/3. Trying to get Pinder to chase, and he's back even 2-2. Patrick tonight looking for career win number 50. Jed Lowry, the on deck man. Called strike 3. He's punched out 3 in a row and 6 in the ball game. 2 down in the 6th.
Now batting second baseman, number 8.
Second baseman Jed Lowry has struck out, grounded out 0 for 2. Lowry, the switch hitter's got that Little League helmet on. Double flaps.
That way you can't go wrong. We've seen some switch hitters this year go to the plate with the wrong helmet on.
Yeah. And Lowry dunks that into center. A 2-out single, just the 3rd hit for Oakland against Patrick Corbin. That'll bring up Matt Chapman. Chapman 0 for 2. Mentioned he played at El Toro High School, same high school as Nolan Arenado. Played his college ball at Cal State Fullerton, that terrific program. That's where the A's got him in the 1st round pick in 2014. He's got good power, 14 home runs in a half season last year. Fastball missed, 1-1. Fatigue settling in just a little bit for Patrick Corbin as the legends gets set to race here. Raleigh Fingers, Dennis Eckersley. That's got to be Ricky.
The A's don't figure to be running trailing by 5 runs in the game. They don't run much, period. 11 stolen bases this season. They've been caught 10 times.
That's foul to Matt Williams at 3rd. Full count on Matt Chapman. Boy, Mel keeps those former D-backs going. He had Chip Hale coaching here last year. He's got Matty at 3rd this year.
Al Padrique at 1st. Al Padrique took over for me when I got fired in 04.
Swing and a miss. Patrick Corbin, 3 strikeouts in the inning, 7 for the ball game. He's through 6 with a 6-1 lead. D-backs have a 6-1 lead over the A's, set for the 7th inning here. What's next brought to you by CenturyLink. Game 2 of this 3-game set. An early start tomorrow afternoon. Clay Buchholz on the mound for the D-backs. Things are turning around here on the other side of the Bay Bridge. New pitcher for the A's, another left-hander. Daniel Coulombe is on for Oakland. Jake Lamb will lead off the D-backs 7th. Coulombe has not given up a run in his last 6 appearances. He was on their opening day roster, had a rough time of things, an ERA near 6 in his first 9 games. But is back up from AAA Nashville.
Coulombe is from Chaparral High School back in the Valley. He was all everything. Louisville Slugger All-American, Rawlings All-American, Baseball America 3rd Team All-American, Arizona State 4A Player of the Year, All-Arizona First Team. Not bad. Went to USC for a year, then transferred to South Mountain Community College before finishing his collegiate career at Texas Tech.
1-1 on Lamb. Jake has doubled and walked twice tonight. His 3rd at bat against a left-hander. He walked against the right-hander Pagan his last time up. Big cut at that fastball, 1-2.
That's one thing I've been impressed with Jake Lamb coming back off the disabled list. He hasn't been chasing a lot of bad pitches, and a lot of times that's the last thing to come back after you return from an injury is your own knowledge of the strike zone and what pitches you can handle and what you can't handle. But Jake has shown a pretty good knowledge of that zone since coming back off the disabled list.
Yeah, after missing 39 games with that left shoulder injury. And he's aboard again. Lamb knocks it into left. A leadoff single. 2 hits and 2 walks for Jake tonight. And once again, the D-backs have the leadoff man aboard. They've done that in each of the last 5 innings. Our Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing Cool plays the game. They now have more hits in this game tonight than they had in all 3 games in Milwaukee earlier this week.
Wow.
Ketel Marte 0 for 3. Five consecutive innings that the leadoff man has reached base safely for the D-backs. 6 runs on 10 hits. They've out-hit the A's 10-3. Ketel's always had a good track record against these A's, having come over from Seattle in the American League West. He's about a .340 career hitter versus the Athletics. A hitless so far tonight. Got that fastball up and in. 1-2. Bouncer to shortstop, Simeon, Lowry, and they turn it.
Taylor made that last big hop, came up waist high to Simeon, made that an easy double play turn at second base.
Dyson singled and scored in the 4th. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Oakland beat Seattle here yesterday 4-3. That snapped a 5-game home losing streak for the Gays. In that game yesterday, they turned a franchise record 5 double plays. That was their first one here tonight. He's got all 4 runs in the first inning of that ball game. And it snapped a stretch of 7 straight home games in which they scored 2 runs or fewer. They've been held to 1 run so far tonight. How about that? 7 straight home games, scoring 2 runs or fewer. That was the A's longest such streak since 1917, more than 100 years. That's a Frank Home Run Baker kind of stuff. Connie Mack, Chief Bender, all the great names from the Philadelphia days. Tyson waves and one outside the zone. We stretch in Oakland. D-backs lead the A's 6-1. Bottom 7 in Oakland, where the D-backs lead the A's 6-1. And bring your whole family to a game with a D-backs value pack. Get a game ticket, a hot dog, and a Pepsi, all for only $25. Get your tickets at dbacks.com/value, and we'll see you at the ballpark at Chase Field this summer. Stephen Piscotty leads off the Oakland 7th against Patrick Corbin, who has thrown 85 pitches in the ball game, 55 for strikes, and the bullpen's quiet as we start this 7th inning. Over the mound, Ketel Marte, 1 pitch, 1 out for Corbin. Piscotty 0 for 3.
Boy, you love those 1-pitch at bats when you get into the 7th inning of a ball game. Pitch count still very reasonable for Patrick Corbin at this point, but a single-digit inning wouldn't hurt anything.
Patrick tonight going for his 50th career victory. Matt Olson's been a problem. The first baseman he's walked and singled. It's been more than a month since Patrick's last win, April 22nd. But the D-backs had scored a total of only 11 runs in Patrick's 4 starts this month. They've scored 6 here tonight. See Marte back in the outfield grass at second. Left-hand hitter up there. I'm trying to remember who holds the bat or held the bat like Olson does. He kind of hangs out there at his waist with his hands out there, and it just, who was that? Belts this one down the line. That's a fair ball. It's in the corner in right. Olson has his 11th double. Someone kind of just,
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who it was.
yeah, it's an obvious answer too.
Well, Well, whoever it is, he gets that bat back into good hitting position, drops the bat head on a pitch on the inside part of the plate, and keeps it fair down into that right field corner. I mentioned it before, because of the deep outfield here, those routine doubles like that occasionally can be triples. I don't know if Olson has the kind of speed to leg out a triple on a ball down the right field line, but as it is, ends up at second base with a one-out double.
Now the bullpen gets busy for the first time tonight as Mike Butcher burns a mound visit. Our crack stat man Bo, who was kind enough to make the journey across the Bay Bridge, we usually have him for Giants games. He suggests it was Moises Alou. I don't think that's the correct answer.
No.
Had the bat way out there like that. We'll work on that. Way to go, Bo. Stay hot. Jonathan Lucroy. It's what you get for not coming to say hi at Chase Field.
That's right.
You're going to stroll in here and get a big greeting. Got another thing coming. If you're just joining us, Bo, our stat man, was at a D-backs game maybe about 2-3 weeks ago. Saw him sitting out there in left field with
It's
his
the Nationals, yeah.
Golden State Warriors shirt on. Didn't come by the booth. Did not go unnoticed. Gets the strike call there from Jim Wolf. 1-1 on the A's catcher.
You know, it's real easy to point to Patrick Corbin's wipeout slider and say that's the pitch that's made him effective, but I would argue that that slower breaking ball has given him a weapon that he can attack hitters with, steal a strike in some instances when they're not looking for that pitch.
And I think, Bob, it's doubly effective when he throws the slow one and then backs it up with that hard down slider. It's quite a combo.
Yep. For a guy that was struggling to find a changeup that he was comfortable with and he could consistently throw in and around the strike zone, he found it with a slower breaking ball rather than a straight changeup or a circle change or a splitter. Just happens to be a breaking ball that he throws when he needs an off-speed pitch.
Behind on Lucroy, 2 balls and 1 strike. On the ground to second. Ahmed has 1 play. Olson moves along. 2 outs. Now hear the music here.
Center fielder, number 20, Mark Cannon.
Didn't you? Mark Cannon uses Bob Dylan as his walk-up music. He took a class on Dylan at Cal Berkeley. And Dylan is his guy, so he uses a little Bob Dylan to walk up here at the ballpark. Kind of a different take.
Sounds like a class they would offer at Berkeley.
What are you saying?
Come listen to some music.
I don't believe you.
Wasn't Canada the one earlier this year when it was so cold he wore the hood up over his head and covered his face and got a couple knocks, so he started doing it every day even when the weather was nice?
He's a little off kilter. Speaking of Cal Berkeley, kind of the guy he is. He's an interesting guy. He had a home run against Corbin to lead off the 3rd. A's had gone without a homer in their last 7 home games, the longest streak in their history. Yeah, our crack stat man Bo, who was here this week, said that Canna wore the mask, that cold weather thing. Tuesday and Wednesday it was 60 degrees.
Yeah, not that he's superstitious or anything.
There's a 3-0 strike. Barreto, the DH, is on deck. The number 9 hitter. Got the 3-1 fastball right there. Full count, 3-2. Bullpen is busy for the D-backs. Corbin approaching 100 pitches. 2 outs, 3-2. Here it is. She's lifted to center. Dyson coming in, and he runs it down in the gap. Patrick Corbin gets through 7 in Oakland with a 6-1 lead. Oakland Coliseum. D-backs first visit here since 2011. And they lead the A's 6-1. Fans spend Father's Day with us at Chase Field Sunday, June 17th. Get dad tickets to see the D-backs and the Mets at 1 o'clock start. First 15,000 dads get this D-backs Hawaiian shirt courtesy of Tyson Foods. Get your tickets at dbacks.com/dad. The lovely David Peralta modeling that. Santiago Casilla, the veteran right-hander, is on for the A's. As Jeff Mathis leads off the 8th inning, fly ball to Pinder in left. Of course, Casilla started out last year as the A's closer. Saved a whole bunch of games. Then Blake Trinan took over at midseason. Now he's working this year as a setup man. His 16th appearance of the year. Trinan's done a nice job as their closer. And a nice job by David Peralta tonight in the leadoff spot. 2 for 4, a couple of singles. He scored a run. David now with a 5-game hitting streak. Yoshihisa Hirano warming up at the D-back bullpen. Andrew Chafin had been warming up earlier. Now it's Yoshi down there. That's a strike, 1-1. D-backs, if they can hang on, would of course snap the 7-game losing streak. They'd also get back to 500 on the road this year. They're 11-12 right now away from Chase Field. And Patrick Corbin in line for career win number 50. Slap foul. It stays 1-2. Patrick looking for his first win in more than a month. April 22nd. And he's got some run support. D-backs had scored just 11 runs total in his 4 starts this month. But he's got a 6-1 lead here. That one sails over Lucroy's head. All the way to the backstop here. It's 2-2. Ahmed has homered. He's got an RBI single tonight. He's on deck. Nick got it started 2 batters into the ball game. A solo shot, his 7th this year. There's a tapper. Casilla scoops it up and throws him out. Nick the homer in the first, an RBI single in the 4th. He's 2 for 4. D-backs gone 1 in the first, 2 in the 3rd, and 3 in that 4th inning. The only Oakland run coming on Mark Canha's homer to lead off the 3rd. D-backs have out hit the A's 10-4.
You know, and thinking about the Diamondbacks' recent offensive struggles and guys looking up at the scoreboard and checking their batting average in the low 200s, some of them under 200. The thing you have to remember is it's taken you 50 games to get to this point. It might take you 50 games to get that batting average back up where you think it's respectable. So you can't do it all in one day. You can't do it all in one at bat. You just got to trust the process, keep your head down, keep grinding.
Tonight is game number 50 on the year. We're 50 games in now. Is there a number that you think accurately reflects a time where you take a look at what you got and you say, okay, this is what we are this year with? At what point?
I don't know if you can really do that at all anymore. I mean, the roster changes so much over the course of the season. Guys are injured, guys are ineffective. They get on the shuttle between AAA and the big league. So the personality of your team changes over the course of a summer. And, you know, depending on the additions and the subtractions, it sometimes changes the team chemistry, sometimes changes the lineup, the guys hitting in front of you and behind you. So a lot of things can change in the next 112 games.
They're going to come out and have a look at Casilla now. Boy, this is the last thing that Mel needs right now.
He's got 9 pitchers in the bullpen right now, but as we've said, he's had to use a lot of bullpen several times recently, and Casilla is going to come out of the ball game.
Something's wrong with Santiago Casilla, and he will immediately leave the game. No one warming up for the A's. We'll take a break from Oakland at 6-1 D-backs. A's 6-1 in the 8th inning. And fans on this Memorial Day weekend, Sanderson Ford salutes the troops, those that have served or currently serving, and those that paid the ultimate sacrifice so that we may enjoy the freedoms we have today. With us on the strip is Todd Walsh. Todd.
Steve, thank you very much. I know that you and Bob and Jody were tracking the Shelby Miller story during the course of this road trip earlier. You remember he had 66 pitches on the mound in an extended spring start against San Francisco. At one point, I believe he struck out 4 straight Giants, velocity in the 90s. But the word of the day from Torey Lovullo that his next start will indeed come in Visalia. They don't have an exact date as of yet. He was scheduled to throw a bullpen today, and it looked like we'll have more news, we presume, by tomorrow afternoon. So we might be able to nail down that date as soon as we hear from that man, Torey Lovullo. And we'll get that to you on Diamondbacks Live, the pregame show. So the comeback continues for Shelby Miller.
And what's amazing about that, Todd and Bob, is that he had his Tommy John surgery last May. So at this point today, we're only talking about 12 months here. I mean, that's really fast.
I mean, that surgery and the rehab after that surgery, because there have been so many of them, they know a lot more about rehabbing from that Tommy John surgery. And it used to be an 18-month minimum. Guy coming off Tommy John surgery before you could expect him back at the major league level. But as we've seen over the last few years, more and more guys coming back shorter than that.
I remember as we take a look at Ryan Dull, who comes on for the injured Santiago Casilla, that Shelby got diagnosed with that flexor tendon strain, partial tear in that right elbow, and got all kinds of opinions. Dr. Wazlewski looked at it. They talked to Elatrosh in LA. All kinds of reports from James Andrews looked at things, and they decided on the best course of action. And whatever they did seems to have worked really well for Shelby so far. So fingers crossed for him. Dull inherits a 3-1 count on Nick Ahmed. No word on exactly what the problem was with Santiago Casilla, who suddenly had to leave the ball game. But it's Nick up there, 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs here in the 8th. That one is low. There's a 2-out walk. I'm in aboard for the 3rd time tonight. John Ryan Murphy, the DH, and batting 3rd, had a 2-run double off the wall in left center in the 3rd. Walked his last time up. He's 1 for 3. I believe because they were so deep into the count that base on balls is charged to Santiago Casilla.
Right you are.
So this is technically Dull's first hitter here. 1-0 on Murphy. Ryan Dull had a nice run earlier this year. Scoreless baseball in 7 appearances, but he's given up 5 runs in his last 5 outings. Toronto is ready in the D-back bullpen. Hayes in the bottom of this inning will have Barreto, Simeon, and Pinderdew up 9-1 and 2. 2-2 on John Ryan Murphy. Goldie on deck. Oakland Coliseum. Just over 22,000 here with us tonight. Hard to tell, this place is so big. In the air to Pinder in left field. That was a little bit of an adventure for him. Bottom 8 on the way at 6-1 D-backs. For his first win in more than a month, the 50th of his career, and he was terrific here tonight in Oakland. 7 innings. He gave up 1 run on 4 hits, walked 1, and had 7 strikeouts.
And to the best of my knowledge, did not throw a fastball over 90 miles an hour in this game tonight. Now, much was made of Patrick's loss of velocity after his start to the season, but when you hit your spots, there's not a lot of difference between 88 and 92 if you paint the corners with it.
The only run given up by Corbin, Mark Canna's home run that led off the third. That's been all the A's scoring so far. And now here's Yoshi Hirano to start the 8th inning. Matt Joyce will hit for Franklin Barreto. The numbers on Yoshi, his 24th appearance, a 2.11 ERA. Joyce, the left-hand batter. 3 defenders on the right side for the D-backs. There's ball 1. Joyce, 212 and 5 homers. Not a whole lot of bodies over there. Long run for David in left field, but he comes in to collect that one. That'll bring up the leadoff man, the shortstop Marcus Semien, who's 0 for 3.
Now batting shortstop, 10,
Marcus Semien, another Cal Berkeley guy. He grew up in Berkeley, in fact, Marcus. I'm guessing that Ohio U and Cal Berkeley is somewhat different sort of environments.
It's just the weather. Otherwise, pretty much exactly the same.
You were out there occupying various administration buildings.
No. They were too close to the class buildings. I didn't want to get too close.
Ruin your streak.
I don't remember anybody sitting in trees or anything like that.
Too cold. Sit in the tree house here in Oakland.
Yeah.
Somewhere out there that's in the left field corner of Mount Davis. Well, there's a lot going on in there. They got suites and outside seating, restaurants.
I was up here talking to Dave Stewart before the ball game, and he was talking to some friends that he was with and said, yeah, I guess we'll just go to the tree house. I had no idea what he was talking about. Now I know.
It's a Buffalo Tom song, isn't it? 3-2 on Semien. Yeah, that is a beautiful concrete slab known as Mount Davis out there in center. Pinder, the left fielder, on deck. Yoshi lost the handle on that fastball, a 1-out ball.
Yoshi has to feel right at home. Now that 66 I certainly think is for Ryan Dull, who wears number 66 for the A's, but yeah, Yoshi wears number 66, so we're going to say it's for him.
Throw your split on Route 66.
There you go.
That was it right there, 0-1. Pinder's a Virginia Tech Hokie. Second round pick by the A's 5 years ago. Fights this one off, and it dunks in front of Owens in right field. Jam shot loop. 2 on and 1 out for Lowry.
That's too bad, because that's exactly what Yoshi wanted to do right there. He started the at bat with a split finger fastball, swing and a miss right there. Comes back with a fastball up and in right where he wanted it, and jams the living daylights out of the hitter, but he bloops it out into shallow right for a base hit.
Our nationwide vision, eye on the game. So the A's have something going here. Lowry singled his last time up, 1 for 3. Now batting from the left-hand side, where he's hit 8 of his 9 home runs this year. Got to be careful here. Talked about how this place is a home run graveyard at night. Canna's homer came back in the third. counting tonight. The A's have played 24 home games this year and homered in this building only 15 times. It's hard to get it out of here at night. Oh, the excuse me check swing, and the hitter always has that reaction. 0-2. Didn't mean to do that. Now I'm in an 0-2 hole. Simeon at second and Pinder at first. 1 out. Here's the split. Missing Chris Davis isn't helping the A's power drain. Davis on the DL the other day with a right groin strain, so we won't see the A's best power hitter in this series. Went down to get a piece of that one. It stays 1-2. There's Captain Crush. Chris Davis not here. Valley native.
Chris Davis is one guy that can make this ballpark look small.
He's a 40 home run guy now. Yep. Write it down in ink. He's become a tremendous hitter. Lays off a high fastball, and Lowry is back even 2-2. Chapman, the third baseman, the cleanup man. On deck, he's 0 for 3. Bounce to first. Goldie will take it himself. Runners move up. That's the second out. So now Yoshi will have to get Chapman here.
Now batting third baseman, number 26.
Chapman this year hitting under a $150 with runners in scoring position. He's a guy that strikes out a bunch. He's gone hitless in 4 of his last 5 starts, and he's 0 for 3 so far tonight. 2 on and 2 out. Belts that one down the line in left. Foul.
Strike 1.
Well, he was up there looking for that, and he jumped on it. Ball's upstairs, 1-1 on Matt Chapman, the A's third baseman. Mike Fetters and the bullpen. Chafin had been warming up earlier in the ball game. That fastball's there. Yoshi's ahead 1-2.
It looked like Mike Fetters, the bullpen coach, was going over the possible hitters that Andrew Chafin might face if he comes into the ball game. You would assume it would be a left-handed hitter, and going over a quick scouting report on anybody that Chafin might face in this game if he gets in there.
See if he can get him to chase a split right here in the dirt. Got a fastball up. Jeff sort of staggered that time.
It looked like that foul ball hit his mitt, popped up in the air, and he was trying to catch it again before it hit the ground. I actually saw Johnny Bench do that one time. A foul tip just like this off the mitt, popped up in the air, and Bench dove and caught it before it hit the ground. It was the third strike.
He was pretty good.
He was okay.
Yeah. 1-2. Foul ground. D-backs have a chance if they can get there. Boy, you got to run a long way. This place is nuts.
It is crazy.
Goldie on the dead run and couldn't get near it.
Just wasn't popped high enough in the air, and that combined with all this foul ground, just not enough time for any Diamondback defender to get to the area. He's tried to go up with a couple of fastballs at the top of the zone. Got a couple swings and foul balls. See if he goes back to that splitter now. Talk about changing the hitter's eye level. You throw 2 fastballs in the low 90s up around the shoulders. It would seem this would be the time to come back with a splitter. There it is.
And he got him a swing and a miss. Yoshi strands 2. We hit the 9th in Oakland. It stays 6-1 D-backs. The 9th inning, and fans, don't forget, if you can't watch the games on your TV, stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. It's brought to you locally by your Valley Honda dealers. Download the free app and take Fox Sports Arizona and your D-backs with you wherever you go. We're in Oakland for the first of 3. Goldie leads off the 9th. Goldie a 2-run triple in the 4th inning. 1 for 4 tonight. His last multi-hit game, April 26th at Philadelphia. Down 0-2.
You'll notice Jonathan Lucroy asking for the new ball from the home plate umpire Jim Wolf. Jim Wolf always throws it himself.
Is that because he's Randy Wolf's brother?
Well, I don't know. He's got a good arm and he likes to show it off.
Runs in the family, I guess. Brother of the former big league pitcher. They, of course, were never allowed to work. Could he work the series?
He could work the bases, but not the plate when his brother was pitching. Yeah, I actually got on Jim Wolf one time. He was umpiring a game for Randy Johnson at then Bank One ballpark.
Well, I find that hard to believe.
Ball was fouled out of play, and Jim Wolf stepped out like he always does, fired a rocket out to Randy over his head.
Goldie sends one to left center. That gets down and rolls to the wall. He's got a triple tonight. Now he adds a double. His first multi-hit game in a month.
And nothing cheap about him either. This is a fastball up over the heart of the plate. He barrels it up to that gap in left center field. Starting to see some signs.
109 miles an hour off the bat. You mean like that?
Yeah, like that, yeah. I mean, even occasionally when Goldie's gotten his hits recently, they haven't been smoked line drives or long fly balls. He's looped them over the infield, found ground balls that snuck their way through, but he's starting to whack that ball again.
A chance for Chris Owings, 0 for 4. Owings and Marte still the only two D-backs without base hits tonight. D-backs have out hit the A's 11-5.
Officially more hits now than the Diamondbacks had in the entire Milwaukee series.
10 in 3 games at Miller Park. I'm sorry, I got distracted by that. What did you end up saying to Jim?
Well, he fired the ball back to the mound, over Randy's head, rolled out into center field, and I yelled, "Hey, take it easy," because I don't want Randy jumping for balls out there on the mound. You know, if you're going to throw the ball back, throw it so he can catch it. I said, besides, you can't pitch. That's why you're umpiring.
How'd that go over?
Okay. I got along okay with Jim. He has a good sense of humor.
He did throw it over the head of a guy who's 6'10".
Yeah.
That's hard to do. Standing on a mound. Here's the 1-1 to CO. D-backs looking for their first win on this road trip, trying to snap a 7-game losing skid. Corbin was terrific tonight. The offense has been very, very good. A lot of base runners. Always gets into one. This is hit deep to center. Canna is at the track and he runs it down. Goldie will break for third. Owings hit that to the deepest part of the ballpark in straightaway center.
Wrong time of the day to hit that ball. If he hits that tomorrow during the day game, it might hit the glass out there on the luxury suites, but night game here in Oakland just got out there to the warning track and died for him.
Number 22.
The force was not with him.
No.
Is that Colin McGregor? Or what's that guy's name? Ewan McGregor? I don't know. Ask Brad Weimer. Jake Lamb has singled, doubled, and walked twice. Yeah, Ewan McGregor. I think Colin McGregor's a golfer. I don't know.
Sounds like a golfer.
Doesn't it though? Infield is in. Nice high hop for Lowry at second. Goldie has to stay put. 2 outs. They finally retire Lamb.
Speaking of golf, several of the players took advantage of the off day yesterday to head south a little bit to the Monterey Peninsula. They teed them up at Cypress Point.
I heard about that, and TJ McFarland somehow missed the bus on that. Some guys played Pebble, other guys played Cypress, and TJ, he was hurt, man.
Yeah.
I saw him at breakfast. He was bummed. He missed the train.
I think that was necessary for some of the guys that went on the trip. You know, just completely remove yourself from what's been a huge negative over the last 3 weeks and take a deep breath, enjoy some sunshine and ocean air, camaraderie with your teammates, and then come back to the ballpark and start pounding some base hits.
Torrey flew back to Phoenix. As soon as we landed, he just stayed there at the airport, turned around, flew home. His son had won a math award. And Torrey wanted to be there to support his family. They do so much to support him. And so Torrey scored, I think, some major husband/dad points by flying home to honor his son, who has really done well with his math. I guess that comes from his wife's side.
It must.
Yeah. 0-2 on Ketel Marte. Marte's got a base hit. He knocks that into left center field. Goldie is home at 7-1. Ketel Marte heads for third. The A's really slow to get that ball back into the infield there. Marte is in at third. I don't know what happened with Canna and Pinder out there, but neither guy was able to pick it up on the warning track, and we'll make sure Marte is all right.
I think both outfielders were deferring to the other when they got out there to the spot. Marte picks on a fastball up and out over the plate and lines it into that gap in left center. It looked like the ball kind of either checked up on the warning track or perhaps hit the fence and just stopped out there. Yeah, Canna had to take an extra step. It kind of got wedged underneath the fence out there, and that gave Marte the opportunity to turn the corner at second and end up at third base with a hard slide.
An RBI triple, his 4th of the year. Here's Gerard Dyson, make it 7-1 D-backs. Third game this year for the D-backs. They've had multiple triples. Goldie had a 2-run triple in the 4th. Seven runs on 12 hits. How about it?
Six extra base hits in the game.
And 5 bases on balls, too.
A lot of good at bats in this game.
Ahmed homered. Murphy had a 2-run double. Goldie a 2-run triple and a double. Lamb is doubled. Marte the RBI triple. The bats have come alive here in Oakland. This is bounced over the mound. Lowry picks it up. The D-backs tack on another run. Bottom 9, they lead the A's 7-1. D-backs have had it rolling here tonight in Oakland. Our Gila River game summary: Patrick Corbin outstanding, 1 run on 4 hits in 7 innings. Gerard Dyson another leaping catch at the wall in center field, and all kinds of offense. 7 runs on 12 hits as Andrew Chafin goes out there to start the bottom of the 9th inning against Stephen Piscotty, Matt Olson, and Jonathan Lucroy. Ketel Marte, who we saw banged up his hand a little bit sliding into third on that triple, he comes out of the ball game, and Devin Marrero takes over at second base. Piscotty is 0 for 3. Fastball's a strike, 2-1. Center field, Dyson. Boy, the ball gets out there and it just dies.
In the darkness. We were talking in Milwaukee about Miller Park, and there are certain areas of that ballpark when the roof and panels are closed that don't seem to get as much light as they need. Well, I'll tell you, here in Oakland center field, it's dark out there.
It's funny because the way the lights are configured here, it creates a big shadow out there just in front of that warning track in center, and you can disappear in there and get lost. Well, a good night for the A's first baseman Matt Olson. He has walked, singled, and doubled. He's got 2 of their 5 hits. Can we figure out who holds the bat like that yet? Somebody does.
Still grinding on it.
But you know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. I've seen it. I just can't think of who it is.
Arms fully extended out, hands kind of belt high, and that bat just hangs out there.
Utley gets out there close to that.
Yeah,
not nearly to this extreme, but yeah, he'll hold it out there toward the plate.
And Olson's a big guy, 6'5".
And as we always say, it doesn't really matter what you do while you're just standing in the box waiting for the pitch to be delivered. He'll get his hands back there in a good hitting position as Andrew gets ready to pitch.
There's a fastball at the knees. 1-2. Now Jake Lamb will run over there. Change it up with Nick Ahmed. The shift is on. Waves at that one. And Chafin gets the strikeout. 2 down in the 9th. Todd Wall standing by. D-backs Live, the post-game show brought to you by CenturyLink follows our ball game. A reaction from inside the clubhouse as the D-backs are on the verge of snapping the 7-game losing streak. There's Lucroy 0 for 3. D-backs will improve to 500 on the road, 12-12. They'll get to 2 over 500 on the year. 2 more to go here in Oakland this weekend. Clay Buchholz tomorrow. A 1 o'clock in the afternoon start, a little early for us. D-backs Live pregame show at 12:30 on Fox Sports Arizona. And then Zach Greinke goes here Sunday against former D-back great Trevor Cahill. Chafin a strike away. Can everybody exhale now?
Oh yeah, take a deep breath. Yeah, it gets to the point where you start to question yourself. Can I still hit? Where did it go? But as we've said many times, all it takes is a couple of well-struck balls and everything falls right back into place.
Called strike 3, and the D-backs win the opener in Oakland 7-1. They snap the 7-game losing streak. A couple of extra base hits for Goldie. A whole bunch of offense and a terrific outing by Patrick Corbin.
Yeah, the offense will get all the notoriety tonight because there's been so little of it lately. But don't forget Patrick Corbin, 7 strong innings, gave up only the solo home run to Mark Cannon in the 3rd inning. Otherwise, he was outstanding.
Good start to this final series of the road trip. Swept in New York and Milwaukee, but they win the opener here in Oakland. Nick Ahmed got it started with a 1st-inning homer. They finish up with 7 runs on 12 hits. D-backs Live, presented by CenturyLink, is next with Todd Walsh. Corbin, the win, is 50th in his career. He gets